More homes are being built, but how long will that last?
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by C3 AI. C3 Generative AI provides ChatGPT enterprise search that is verifiable, secure, and accurate across all enterprise data. C3.ai. This is Enterprise AI.
From Marketplace, I'm Sabri Benishore, in for David Brancaccio. Construction of new homes increased in July, according to new data out this week from the Commerce Department. Housing starts rose nearly 4% from June and nearly 6% from the year before. Generally speaking, more supply is welcome news to home buyers, but there are signs that the trend might not last much longer. Marketplace's Henry Epp has more.
Yes, builders are breaking ground on more new homes right now, but further up the housing pipeline, it's a different story. That's because permits for new homes rose just slightly in July and were down 13% compared to last year, meaning fewer homes will have paperwork in place to break ground in the coming months. One big factor here is a decline in permits for multifamily housing projects. A lot of apartment construction started up in the last few years, so with all that new supply about to come online, there's less appetite from developers to build more. Plus, interest rates are now expected to remain higher for longer, raising building costs. Mortgage rates could start to weigh down the number of new single-family homes, too. They rose to nearly 7% earlier this month. If more home buyers decide the cost of a mortgage is too high, that could influence how many new units home builders decide to add to the country's housing stock. I'm Henry Epp for Marketplace.
Every year, the Federal Reserve throws a big event in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. It's kind of like a party for central bankers and economists, an economic policy party. It is called the Economic Policy Symposium. Anyway, this year's event gets going a week from today. Last year, Fed Chair Jerome Powell spoke at the event and warned of economic pain coming down the road. So far, that pain has not materialized in a big way. So what's he going to say this year? Marketplace's Nancy Marshall-Genzer takes a look.
Powell's Jackson Hole speech last year was short, but not especially sweet.
While higher interest rates, slower growth, and softer labor market conditions will bring down inflation, they will also bring some pain to households and businesses.
For Chris Rupke, chief economist at Forward Bonds, it was
kind of like dad is mad.
Rupke says last year, Powell wanted to remind us that the road back to the Fed's target of 2% inflation was long. Now, Rupke says he'd be shocked if Powell said a rate hike was definitely on the table at the Fed's September meeting.
The Fed may be closer to the end, certainly, than the beginning, and I would expect Powell's speech to reflect that.
After all, the consumer price index has gone from peaking at about 9% last year to about 3% now, says Stony Brook University economist Stephanie Kelton. Here's what she'd like to hear from Powell.
Inflation has come down significantly since we were together last year. Let's all go fishing.
But she expects Powell will say there could be more rate hikes, depending, as usual, on the data. I'm Nancy Marshall-Genzer for Marketplace.
All right, speaking of data, let's do the numbers. Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P futures are all up in the 1 to 0.4% range, with the Dow future up 39 points. The yield on the 10-year Treasury is 4.285%, very high. And New York City is the latest city to ban TikTok on all government-owned devices over security and user privacy concerns. It joins a growing number of U.S. cities and states that have done the same. New York State had actually already banned TikTok on state-issued mobile devices.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Charles Schwab. The people at Schwab are passionate about helping investors. Learn more at schwab.com/whyschwab. And by Amazon Business, helping provide a smarter, easier way to get the supplies businesses need to thrive. Amazon Business, your partner for smart business buying.
Residents of Maui are grappling with just how much they've lost in last week's wildfires. At least 111 people are confirmed to have died. FEMA, the Red Cross, and volunteer organizations are providing emergency aid. President Biden has asked Congress for $12 billion to refill the nearly empty disaster relief fund. Compounding the human misery the fires left behind are the economic costs. Billions of dollars in damage to physical infrastructure, but also damage to the island's future, its economic future. Ali Budner reports.
Katie Folio helps run a network of occupational and physical therapy clinics on Maui, including one in Lahaina, the town that was almost completely wiped out by the fires.
We thought that the clinic was gone. We'd heard that Island Grocery was burned down, and that's right next door to us.
But miraculously, the clinic still stands, one building surrounded by the charred remains of other structures.
There's nothing around it. Like it's going to be tough to go back. It's going to be tough it's just going to be tough.
Like many businesses, the Lahaina Clinic is on hold as the whole community deals with tragedy. And in the meantime, Folio says staff are scrambling to support clients who've lost everything. They helped one family replace a child's specialized wheelchair that burned in the fire.
We are already on Maui short of resources, especially for pediatrics and for kids and healthcare. And so I worry about what the future holds.
Her clinic and other Maui businesses may not know the full measure of the losses for a while, but the economic damage from Hawaii's wildfires could be as high as $16 billion. That's according to AccuWeather, which estimates the total economic toll of climate disasters.
We look at things like job and wage losses.
Jonathan Porter is chief meteorologist with AccuWeather.
Crops, infrastructure damage, interruption to supply chain, business losses, flight cancellations and delays.
Porter says there's also the damage to residents' mental and physical health.
We had all types of smoke, lots of dangerous particulate matter lofted into the air that people were breathing.
And of course, there's tourism, one of the top sources of income for Hawaii's economy, which was just recovering from the pandemic.
There's no question that this will definitely exacerbate an already challenging situation.
Micah Kane is the CEO and president of the Hawaii Community Foundation, which has raised more than $27 million to provide aid to victims of the fires. He's grateful for the outpouring of support, but he also says it's hard to see this emergency eclipse years of progress on important local economic issues.
Prior to the disaster, our organization was heavily involved in attempting to get more affordable housing built within Maui County.
But for now, Kane says what people need is emergency shelter and help getting back on their feet. I'm Ali Budner for Marketplace.
And in New York, I'm Sabri Benishore with the Marketplace Morning Report. From 8 p.m., American Public Media.